Hi, this is At Home with Sister Mika, and today is why I homeschool and 5 tips. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right in and start from the beginning. So I have been homeschooling my kids for 5 years, and let me tell you, it's been a journey. It has not been easy, but I thank the Lord He has gotten me through. So my sister-in-law, she started having children before my husband and I, and so she homeschooled. She had started homeschooling her children, and so me and my husband, we talked about, whether when we have kids, will we homeschool or not. And so he said he did not want to homeschool the kids. He said that how are they going to be the light? So he wanted to put them in school, public school. And so I said, okay, that's fine. Our kids need to be the light. I went with it. And I prayed and I said, Lord, if it's your will that we homeschool, then I pray you put it on his heart. And so I went on, and it was not until we had our daughter, and she was a toddler, and we was driving in the car, and I remember it like yesterday. He turned and looked at me and said, "You homeschooling her, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess so." So the Lord had changed his heart, and he wanted to homeschool. And so right after I had her, I had 8 months later, I got pregnant with my second daughter. And so it was back to back. So I ended up just putting them in the same grade. And I started them both off in kindergarten first, and now they're in fourth grade together and going to fifth grade. So in the beginning, I struggled so much because I was the type of teacher where I was more so a drill sergeant, like, you gotta get it, do this, do that, get it. And it was just tears all the time. And I had came to a place in my life several times where I just said I could not do this. This is not for everybody. And I wanted to put my children in public school. And I remember going to my husband and saying, I can't do this. I'm going to put them in public school because this is just too much. And I went back and forth with that for a while. And it was not until the Lord has showed me that the children of Israel, how he kept them separate. And he didn't even want them to mingle with other nations. He didn't want the men to marry other women from other nations because he wanted them to be a separate people unto himself. And so when we are saved and Christians, we're supposed to be separate from the world. And he didn't tell Israel to send your children to Egypt so that they can get a better education, or send them here or send them there. No, he said to teach your children. And when the Lord revealed that to me, then I realized that this was something I was supposed to do. Teach my children and keep them from the world. And so after that, I had settled it, and it was no going back. And I thank the Lord. And I think that same year, I found out about the program I'm using. I found out that they had DVDs and videos that my kids could actually look at the teacher, and the teacher, would teach them each lesson. And so I started doing the videos, and it was just like a relief. It was like, whew, it was such a relief, and it was the stress level had came down. Not only had the Lord had confirmed that I was supposed to be doing this, but he had also blessed me to be able to do the videos, to afford to do the videos, and it took a lot of stress off of me. And so I thank God. And so they do the videos, and I teach my son, because after about 2 years later, I had a little boy. And so my son, he's in K5, going to first grade, and my girl's in fourth, going to fifth grade. So yeah, and so that's how I started homeschooling. Now for our 5 tips. So the first tip, these are some of the things that the Lord had shown me during my homeschool journey. So the first tip is have your children under subjection. If you do not have them under subjection, if they do not obey you, then it's going to be harder for you to get them to sit down and to do their work and to pay attention while you're teaching them. You're going to have struggles. And so you need to start when they are young, helping them, disciplining them in a way that they obey you, so that when it's time for school, that they'll be ready, to sit down and learn and do what mommy says to do. So that's so important, is having your children under subjection, making sure they obey you. Number 2, don't compare your school to public school or to another homeschool. I also used to do that. I used to say things like, if you were in public school, you wouldn't do this, or if you were in public school, it would be like that. And the Lord, He had to show me, He had to calm me down and help me to realize that that's why you're not in public school. This is your homeschool. You get to do it the way you like. And so I was like, yes, you're right, Lord. And so I began to calm down and relax a little bit and make my homeschool fun, make it the way that I wanted to make it. And so don't compare your homeschool to public school, because it's not public school, it's your homeschool. Don't compare it to another homeschool, because for me, I like traditional, and for other homeschools, they may not like traditional. They may like going to different places and being hands-on. So don't compare your homeschool to other homeschools. It's your homeschool, and you do it the way God guides you to do your homeschool. Number 3, don't compare your kids to other kids. Don't compare your kids to each other. I did that also in the beginning. Like I said, my sister-in-law, she had a son the same age as my daughter. And she had told me he knew all his colors. And I forgot what age they were at the time. But my daughter could not get her colors. And so here I am, come on, let's learn blue, red, orange, pink, blue, red, and she just would not get it. And I'm like, your cousin gets it. Why can't you get the colors? And so it was not until I played a game with her, and she was able to understand, and she learned her colors. And so some kids may get things faster than your kids, and that's okay. Don't compare them to other kids. These are your kids. Understand them. Learn their learning styles, because my children have different learning styles from their siblings, and so learn their learning styles. Don't compare them to each other, because they are different. They all have their own unique personalities, and they all have their own learning style. Like my oldest, she is very hands-on, while my two middle children, they are visual learners. But my oldest, I have to be more hands-on with her. for her to get it. And so they all have different learning styles. And my oldest, she's very strong in math, because I told you I do my two oldest daughters in the same grade. And so she's very strong in math. But when it comes to verbs and pronouns and adjectives, she's like, Mommy, I don't understand, you know. And then her sister, she gets the pronouns, the verbs, and the adjectives, but then math, she struggles. And so, learn their strengths and their weaknesses, and try to help them in their weaknesses to be stronger. But don't compare them. Don't say, well, you need to be like your sister. You need to be strong in math like your sister. Or you need to be strong. Don't do that, because they're going to always feel like I'm not good enough because I'm not like my sister, or I'm not like my brother. I'm not as good as them. I'm not good enough. And so do not compare your children to other children or to each other. Number 4, encourage them. Encourage them. That is so important. When we first started 4th grade, it was a big jump from 3rd to 4th. And so my girls, they were struggling in the beginning. And I was praying. I was like, Lord, what could I do? And so I had wrote them a little note, and I put a scripture on there. I think you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. You can do it. I believe in you. I love you. And I left a little note. I drew a heart on it, and I left a note on their desk. And man, when they came downstairs and they saw that note on their desk, their little faces just lit up. They were so excited. And so, yes, encourage them. And throughout the day, it was just a better day, because they would look at their notes. When things would get hard, they would look at the note and just remember what Mom said, that she believes in them and they can do it. And so encouraging your kids is so important. That helps them to get through the day. Don't make them feel like they're not good enough, or don't make them feel like they can't do it. And if they can't do it, still let them know that you love them, and it's okay if you don't get it. It's okay. You will eventually get it. And if you don't, I still love you. So they need to know that. They need to have that reassurance. And the last tip is number 5. Have structure. Kids need to know what's expected of them each day. For me, I'm like I said, I like traditional. I like to basically have us be on schedule and be on that same schedule each day. And for some people, I know some people don't like to be on the same schedule every day, and that's okay. But make sure you write it out on the calendar, like Monday we're going to do math, Tuesday we're going to do English, Wednesday we're going to read, however, or Thursday we're going to go to the park or picnic. Just have some sort of structure, because your kids need that structure, because we're preparing them for the real world. And if they're in the real world, they're going to have to wake up, they're going to have to go to these jobs or go to this college, and they need that structure, because they're going to have some structure when they go out there in the real world. And so those are my tips, and that is why I homeschool. Please like this video if you like it. Comment, why do you homeschool? What are some tips that the Lord has shown you? Write them in the comments. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.